Hands trace the trickle themselves, moving through realms that find distant step ladders as a distant version of a cytome. A distant galactic nucleoplasm that finds its cellular structure shifting and changing anyways. This pulling point of existence, pulling its edge to a distant land, but this distant place leaves as one of new beginnings. This pulling point of Earth speaking to itself again, this expectation of a cytoplasm speaking as a nuclear mitochondrial cell that finds itself speaking as a distant point of self in a distant timeline. These are beings speaking through weaving helixes, escaping to find their own truth, existing as archaic versions of the self. Where is the carcass to you when it speaks to live again? How does that sinking memory find a distant place to speak again? How does breathing become the emanating point of reality speaking, but the mere reminiscent point becomes a distant ellipsis? These three dots are three conceptions to you. So how do you see yourself? Do your dreams conquer you? Are these merely versions of the self that find a pulling, rendering existence where the simulation runs anyway? We are thinking beings who are speaking of truth to exist here. We are merely holographic points of self where the hologram becomes a distant ribcage bone here. This archaic paleontological existence becomes a question of a lost fossil. So when is the last time you saw your own ancestral line? Where is the truth you see speaking through you? Have you found yourself as a being weaving an archaic helix, speaking truth to find its own existence, a shifted alignment that finds its distant point through a distant day? But that spinning point becomes a distant hand, speaking of an ancestral form line where the plotted point is a lost seed to you. Or the sky is speaking through me anyway.